You know those projects, the little projects that you keep saying you're gonna do because it make your life so much easier, but they don't like need to be done. And you have a lot of things that need to be done. So you keep putting off the little ones. Well, that's what we're doing today, because it's like that shell game but with chain hooks. We've got to go haul a crane, and I haul this crane a lot. So much so that I have chains specifically for hauling this crane. But on one end of these chains, I had the chain grab hooks, and they go to a D-ring on the side of the trailer. It will be much better served by a chain slip hook. Well, my chains for the crane didn't have the slip hooks on them. These extra chains I have over here did. So I'm swapping the grab hooks between the crane chains and the slip hooks between the extra chains. So when I go to haul the crane, I can just simply grab the D-ring on the side of the trailer instead of having to loop through and hook back to itself. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. Now, if you're wondering why I have time to do this today, when I never have time to do it any other day, is because we're still on vacation. Well, as far as anyone knows, we're still on vacation. We just got back from a week-long trip to Wyoming, and I have not told anybody that we're back yet, because we weren't supposed to be back until tonight and not get back to work till tomorrow. But we've got a crane to haul because the crane needed to go do a small, quick job while I was going to be out of town for the week. So I went and dropped it off right before I left out of town. And now that I'm back, I'm going to pick it back up. Now tell me this, when you install cotter pins, are you the type of person who puts one over each way? Or are you the type of person that bends both of them the same way? Let me know. Clean up our mess. Then we can get checked out and ready to go. Okay, all the chains are put away. Trailer's sprayed off. We had some major rainstorms happen while we were gone, and when the big raindrops hit in the powdery dirt here, it splatters mud all up on the wheels inside the trailer. And this thing is by no means clean and polished, but I mean, it needs a bath bad, but that mud splatter bothered me, so I sprayed it off. We've got lights going. We've already pre-tripped the truck and the trailer and all the air and all that stuff. I've started not showing pre-trip because you can't really show an entire pre-trip, because if you did, it'd be 20 minutes before you even started the truck. And if you don't show the entire pre-trip, you just get slammed by people saying you didn't do an entire pre-trip and call DOT saying you're not doing your pre-trips. So we don't show any of it. Plus, something that was brought up on an aviation channel I watch about showing pre-flights, where they don't show any pre-flight at all, like none. What they said is when you're doing your pre-flight or your pre-trip, you should be focused on your pre-trip or your pre-flight and not on a YouTube video. When you're talking to the camera, sometimes you'll get distracted and miss certain things that you wouldn't have otherwise missed. And as someone who has almost been killed by a part that failed on a truck, I want to take my pre-trips a little seriously. So no more pre-trips. Pre-trips are for pre-tripping, not for YouTubing. Made a lot of sense. I saw it on the aviation channel where things are just a little bit more serious. So, like I said, actually I don't know if I said, but it is a Sunday morning and we're back from our vacation a day early, which means no one knows we're here. David's last day was also last Friday while we were still gone on vacation, so David's not here either. It's back to just me all by myself. So I got no employees here today. Customers don't know I'm back yet. None of that stuff, meaning this morning I can take my sweet time, do the little projects like those chain hooks. We can make a YouTube video while we're loading, because there shouldn't be anyone there at the facility we're loading at who I'm in the way of and need to get out of there. So just hopefully a nice, relaxed, calm Sunday crane haul. Those Cascades up there aren't looking so big and impressive now that we've been staring at the Tetons for the last week. Somebody screwed up. Ouch. Looks like they rolled and hit one of the trees with the top of the car, caving it in the back seat. Hopefully no one was in that back part of it. The driver's seat area looked like it was still fairly intact, but that passenger seat part was caved completely down, like they hit a tree going that way. So we are coming up to a 2-lane roundabout, and it is impossible for me to go through this roundabout and keep the truck and trailer in either of these lanes, which is why that sign right there says do not drive beside trucks. Well, nobody can read that sign, so I just take both lanes and drive right down the middle, right from the beginning, so that nobody has the opportunity to drive beside my truck. See those people back there? I guarantee you, if I picked one lane or the other and went into that, in either lane, cars would come up beside me on the other side, and when we get into the turns, we don't fit. So I just block them all off right from the beginning. Okay, we are here, and I'm gonna do my turning around empty. That way, I'm not doing this spinning around and twisting on my tires and axles with any more weight on them than we need. So I'm gonna pull up here, back into this loading dock, pull forward, and then back in here to load the crane. There's a lot of walking in YouTube. And yeah, this is what the other camera looks like. Now you may be thinking, I backed all the way over here to load so that I'm out of anybody's way if they come in to get trailers or turn around or do whatever here. And that's not it at all. The one and only reason I backed all the way over here to load, because it's in the shade and it looks hot over there. You see, it's going to be just shy of 100 degrees today. It's supposed to be 102 tomorrow. And I'm not about that life, so we're over here going to work in the shade. So we disconnect all our lines. They're actually back here, not in the front, because if they're in the front, you back off with like a roller or something like that, you'd snap off your glad hands. Toss them in here. Now we're going to release both kingpin releases. We have two. Come back here, start up the trailer. I did start the trailer up before I left the house. On trailers that have their own self-contained engine, I always start them before I leave the yard for the day, just to make sure we don't have a dead battery or something stupid like that. So and we'll come up here, we'll lower our landing gear down, which you can see coming down right there, and we'll just keep that going down until we see it take some pressure off the truck. See, there it is. As soon as we see the neck start to move, we're good. Now we can actually shut that off. We don't need it for a bit. So now the trailer is supported on its legs. We're disconnected there, disconnected there. We can pull out from under it. Now, just like the trailer, we're going to park the truck in the shade as well. You can hear they got the reefer unit running. So this trailer's loaded with a load of beer in it. We're at a brewery right now. They got to keep the beer cool. So this trailer will sit here and run with the reefer until the truck comes, hooks to it, takes it away. Well, then it'll keep running until it gets to its destination. So we flip this up, remove lock number 1, and while we're here, we'll go ahead and grab these. This trailer's angles work out much better if you have just that much of a space under this. I'm very much contemplating, like, well, I'd have to go this way, like rubber cementing these to the bottom. These are like a Teflon plastic something, but very much contemplating like making these permanent on the bottom of it somehow. We might as well grab the other two while we're walking around, put them there, release our second lock. These are the locks that stop the neck from coming down. Oh, I left my 360. I should definitely remove that 360 camera before I set the neck down. But when the neck goes down, obviously it pivots here and this has to come back. So this is a stop that just stops it from being able to go down. So we'll remove it. And then we'll remove this too. So now that those two locks are removed, we can pull this out and the trailer will gravity down. Set on our little plastic blocks there. Now that pad is what I put under the kingpin so that it doesn't get rocks and stuff stuck to it, but on pavement like this, I don't worry about it. I just set it straight to the ground. Now a lot of people wonder about the kingpin on trailers like this. You can see the kingpin pushed up, so it's a floating kingpin. It is not mounted to the trailer in any way. It just sits there, and when the trailer goes to the ground, it just pushes up, and it does stick up a little of the level of this. So if you were going to load like a big roller or something where it's going to go over the middle, you just take this out, set it right here, and then you can go right up. Otherwise you would then punch this through the ground, and if you're on asphalt, that wouldn't be ideal. But just look at how nice of a load angle this trailer has. And you could see if I pull those blocks out, the main part of the deck sits down another couple inches, and then it's almost like it goes up and down a little onto the main deck. So those blocks make a big difference in just that nice smooth angle. All right, now we get over to our crane here. We move this. This does not say C2R on it, so we're gonna leave it here. Walk around, make sure there's not wheel chocks or something stuck to it. Outrigger pads are pinned in place. Ladder is strapped down. Should be good to go. This is a carry deck crane, and it actually did a carry deck job here. This crane is made, has this big deck up here. You can see tie down points all over. It's made to pick something up, be able to set it on its deck and carry it around, and then sit and set it in place. That's exactly what it did here in this brewery. They had a new big tank delivered, and this crane unloaded the tank off the truck that brought it in, carried it inside the building, set the outriggers back down, and then set the tank in place. Carry deck. Man, they did that just right. Okay. The crane was not parked in the shade, and it is hot. So we're going to open a window. Yeah. I got it. There you go. The brakes on. Release the parking brake. Now, I'm used to putting this in forward and reverse on, because in a lot of equipment, this is forward and reverse. And I keep turning on the windshield wipers and the headlights. This is forward and reverse in this crane. So, you see not a whole lot of visibility. We don't want to stab that boom through that guy's truck as we go by. Also, this crane has 3 steering modes. Right now it's in 4-wheel steer where they do that. It has front wheel steer only, and it also has crab steer. And you have to line them up yourself. So I'm gonna get lined up with our trailer here. I forgot to do something before I got in this crane. So set our parking brake. This crane really likes this block of wood right here and this block of wood right there. It's just what this crane wants. It likes that little step to that a lot more than hitting this step alone. I've contemplated building actual ramps to the front of this that make that slope super smooth to the ground, and someday I should probably do that. So now we're gonna get back in our little crane, release our parking brake, go to first gear forward, and then stick our head out the window and make sure our parking brake's all the way released. Now we're gonna put these tires right on the edge. Well, just inside of the edge. And we'll look back at our back ones to make sure our steering's lined up good. Because with that crab steer and front steer, they can come out of alignment. Now if we put this side right on the edge, we know the other side is right where we want it to be. So we don't even bother looking the other way. We just only look at this side, put it where we want, and we're good. Set our parking brake, put it in neutral, shut our window, shut it down. I'm actually a little farther back than I normally am. I should move forward. Ah, no, that's fine. It's fine. Calling it good. Good there. Good there. That works. So now, I am normally the type of guy who believes in chaining down after you are hooked back up to your trailer. Because these trailers flex in the middle. So right now, the forward support point on the trailer is those blocks we put under it. Well, once this is up and the weight is then resting on that kingpin way out there at the front of the neck, that's a longer lever on the front of this trailer, and it introduces more flex into it. Meaning if you're chained here and here, those parts go up, the load sits down, your chains just went loose. Now I'm not gonna worry about that here because I have the truck shut off, I have the trailer shut off. Don't feel like firing engines back up, we don't need to. This super stiff trailer and this relatively lightweight machine are not gonna put enough flex into it for me to worry about that here. So in this case, I'm not gonna worry about doing that. My new hook I just put on grabbed me there. So this is the rear chain. I have these hooks specifically for this crane, as you can see. And then now this will come right down here and grab that D-ring just like that, binder in the middle. I'm going to put that binder on right now just to make sure I have enough room there and don't need to move the crane forward. Because sure enough, I put all the others on and put binders in place, then I'll have to move it. So, come over here. Oh, it's kind of tight, but I think it'll do. Oh yeah, we're gonna get tight and still have plenty of travel on our binder. Ideally, this crane would be about 6 inches farther back. I should put a mark right here for it. Now this is my front chain, because it grabs this, and then it grabs this, and then binder in the middle. Why are they grabbing everything I don't want them to grab today? See, if I split the difference between those two, it works out perfectly. So I'm just a hair farther back than normal. Helicopter. So Now we're done with this hatch. It's like going into the hospital. I mean, someone's having a really bad day. Okay, same thing over here. Get our binder. Could I carry both at once and save the trip back and forth? Yes. Is walking and exercise bad for you? No. I know people, low bed drivers actually, who will do everything they can to minimize the amount of steps they take while loading in a day. And then they'll get off work and they'll go to the gym and run on the treadmill. I've never understood it. Ooh, see that? That's no good. Okay, next. Spin this one out. Okay, I'm not wrapping all my tails because after I hook up, I will check all these again. They might move a tiny bit, I doubt it, but then once it's hooked up and I double check them one more time, then I'll wrap the tails. Okay, ready to fire this thing back up, raise it, get the truck back under. Just goes right back up, and we'll try to guess the height of the truck. It doesn't really matter that much because I have ramps on the back of my truck, so I could pick this thing up from here if I wanted to or had to. But once the neck maxes out, then it starts lifting the trailer off the ground. We're gonna call that good enough. Flip our lock, grab our blocks. Grab our loading blocks as well. Same thing over here. All right, now we can go get the truck. Did you hear what happened there? I heard it. So one of those locks grabbed all the way and the other didn't. So the one stopped it from coming forward. So when I tug tested on it, then when I bounced back off the tug test, you heard the snap of the second one. So remember, this has its main lock and then a safety. And I am betting that snap at the end was the safety engaging. Now I always hook up my airlines first, then my electrical, so that these are holding and then this is not pulling on the electrical, hanging all that while I'm getting my airlines hooked up. So those are hooked up. Whew. we'll come up here, supply air to our trailer. It's looking to be airing back up good. Now we'll come down here and lift our feet. Now you can't see, so you just listen to the motor. You'll hear the first one right there, bottom out, and there's the second. Can you double check? Yep, they're both all the way up. So now, good. So something I've always liked to do when hauling equipment is I start at the driver's side front and work my way around to the passenger side front. And I'll show you why. If that one's tight, we can wrap it. So if I was chaining this down now that I'm hooked up, I'd do that chain, then I'd do this one, then that one, then that one. Yep, still tight. This thing is not heavy enough to flex this trailer. This is a 35-ton rated trailer. It can hold so much. It's way underrated. It could take far more than that. This right here is just, I think it's 34,000 pounds, this crane. So we are 74,000, I believe, total weight, because I'm 40 empty. But this crane on this trailer doesn't even touch it. So that's why I wasn't worried about the flex when it's loaded. Like if you're doing a super heavy load on, well, especially like a Murray or something where they are made out of Gumby's arms. Let's do our final check here. Oh yeah, that's tight. Wrap it up. Don't scratch the crane. And now I'm done. I did my 4 chains. I could go get in the truck, but I don't do that. What I do instead is walk back around this way because it gives me one more chance to look at hooks, make sure they're where I want to be. The chain hooks are on a full length, not like stabbed into it like whichever one did to me when I was tying down. Make sure it's not like sitting over here bound up, and as soon as I move it's going to pop loose and then be slack. Make sure all your pins are in. So I purposely do that pattern. I mean, most of the time. Sometimes it's just not practical with what you're doing. But so that I can walk back around the whole truck and trailer and look at all my tie downs one more time along the way. One thing I also forgot to do is turn all the lights back on when I put air to it, so that I could also check the lights on my way around now that I've plugged the trailer back in. So I'll have to go do that. But see, good, good, fine and tight. Same thing up here. Good, good, fine and tight. It happens pretty often where when you're tightening up, the chain moves and it ends up biting into a link instead of grabbing a link. So I'm gonna turn my gloves in, then turn my lights on. Got all our side lights. We're gonna look underneath. Our jaw's locked in. Now this is not like a normal one, so it's almost kind of not worth, well, I should not say it's not worth looking at, but you're not gonna see like normal jaws with 2 little jaws there, because this has one big plate that shoots across and blocks everything, including the actual jaw. So our lights are there, we're good. All right, we're ready to grab our 360 camera off that post and head out of here. Actually, we're gonna head out of here, then grab that, so we get the shot of driving away and it looks all cinematic and cool and such stuff. Good, good. One thing I should also mention, we got the 4 tie downs on the machine. We do not have our own separate tie down on the boom to the trailer. You never, ever, ever, don't ever, never do it, never tie the boom of a crane to the trailer. That is the quickest way to get fired for hauling for any company that knows what they're talking about with cranes. Because of that flex I was talking about in the trailer, I'll just had a chain back there all the way up to here, and this trailer flexed and moved on bumps, and that goes slack and goes up and jerks tight. that certified boom, done. That is 100% a giant no-no. You never tie the boom of a crane to the trailer. Right now, with that crane hooked back to itself up front there, that counts as the boom tied down. If you have to tie it down separately, you tie from the crane itself. This one would be easy because it has the D-rings in the top of that deck. Over the boom with a ratchet strap, soft strap, not a chain, to the crane so that all the flex of the trailer doesn't have any effect on it. You do not want to shock load that boom. If you roll into a job site with a crane company's crane on there and that boom's tied to the trailer, it'll be the last time you ever haul for this. So that's 100% legal how it is right there. It's the correct way to tie down a crane. So we're here getting fuel, and it's time to get to the point of this whole thing. Do you think you are qualified to do what I just did here? Would you like to drive that truck? It's really nice. Because I could use someone for that. Not full-time now, I'm talking part-time. Ideally like a semi-retired guy who's not out working full-time anymore, but still wants to get out and go on a trip every once in a while. Mainly the longer distance ones. I love doing this stuff, and well, I love doing the longer distance trips too, but mathematically it just doesn't work out for me anymore with YouTube having taken off so much as it has. I've also got a bunch of longer distance trip stuff booked, not a lot, and definitely not back-to-back either, but it doesn't math out for me anymore. You see, I put out 3 YouTube videos a week, and for me, YouTube is the main income source of this company now, so that's kind of has to be the focus. So think 3 videos a week. I've got trips like Southern California one coming up. We've got a fly out to Baltimore and drive a truck back, which that's going to take a full week. Possibly a Texas and back run, which there's well over a week. You got to imagine if I filmed those as videos and did it like that, 3 videos a week, trips that take a week or more, or even a 3-day trip, it just doesn't math out anymore to keep the video schedule up, and turning one trip into multiple videos just doesn't kind of work out really well. So I'm considering hiring someone who wants to work part-time and do those longer stuff when they come up, to be able to do that. He'll run to California is actually to pick up possibly a new low bed trailer, which, by the way, this one is for sale. If you're interested, Cascade Heavy Rescue at Gmail. I'll sell it to you. Then Baltimore's going out to pick up a truck and bring it back. That's later in the year though. Texas and back, that's a haul. Go to Texas, pick something up, haul it back. Again, it's not like back-to-back a constant over-the-road position, just part-time, and usually a few weeks in between each of them. It's like once a month type of thing on these trips, but it just doesn't work out with my YouTube schedule. So that's I don't have the consistent steady work for this truck to have a full-time driver in it running it. I don't. I'd like to, but I don't. Maybe if we get to that point, it would be a full-time thing, but in the meantime, I could use some help with those longer distance, big time consuming ones. Like I said, I love going and doing that, but I just, with everything else we got going on, plus the YouTube and the video schedule there, it just doesn't work out anymore. So I think that's what makes the most sense for me to do. So if you're interested, like I said, don't call me. Cascade Heavy Rescue at gmail.com. Obviously, you have to have a Class A license and a current medical and a clean driving record. Absolutely a must. And such things. But Cascade Heavy Rescue at Gmail, we'll see where it goes from there. Okay, let's not wipe out the fuel pumps. And I just realized that's a truck driving school across the street while I was saying that. Which brings me to my other thing. Per insurance requirements, you got to be at least 25 years old, or insurance won't insure any drivers under 25 for the big trucks. Clean driving record is an absolute must, and you have to have at least a couple years experience. I know people like, how am I supposed to get hired in a truck driving job that requires 2 years? Everybody requires 2 years experience. How do I get the 2 years experience? get hired, how did I say that? How are you supposed to get the 2 years experience if everybody requires 2 years of experience to get the experience? I know that's tough, and that's not a us as a company thing. That is an insurance requirement, and I am the first to say that having a lot of experience doesn't make you good at a job. Like that right there, I just split to the high side of the transmission before I went through all my years on the low side of the transmission, but I put it back and caught it. Yeah, having a lot of experience doesn't make you good at the job. Not having experience doesn't make you bad at the job. In my years of having drivers work for me, the best driver I have ever had, best employee, best driver I've ever had had never driven a full-size truck and trailer before I hired him to be a heavy haul driver. He had only ever driven like the little beverage delivery trucks. When I hired him to be a heavy haul guy, best driver I ever had, the least amount of problems, got the job done, great guy. The worst I've ever had, guy had 35 years experience of heavy haul, and I hired him to be a heavy haul driver. What a freaking nightmare. That guy hit mailboxes, ran over curbs and blew tires, dropped machines off the side of the trailer, and was just a pain in the ass employee on top of all that. But as far as the actual driving of the job, he sucked, and he was 35 years of experience, done far more than I ever have. Terrible. So having experience doesn't make you good, and not having experience doesn't make you bad. Those are two very different things I have found. Okay, we are here, and we're going to use the same method as when we pick this thing up, where we're going to pull straight in, unload, get the weight off the trailer, and then do our turning around empty and leave. It's just much less stress on the trailer to do it that way, especially here where you basically got a jackknife and spin around. All right, we are back home, and on today's episode of You Can't Make This Shit Up, got the crane parked, got the trailer hooked back up, hop back in the truck, ready to head home, and I've got an email on my phone from a young man inquiring about a job, seeing if we're hiring. So exactly what we were just talking about. He's got his Class A CDL with doubles, triples, tanker, all the endorsements except hazmat, which is fine because we don't mess with that anyway. He wants to be in the equipment hauling and towing industry. What do you know? It's what we do. Grew up on a ranch farm. That's what you want, because that's someone who's grown up driving tractors and trucks and trailers and pickups and stuff all around the farm. It's exactly what you want. Has experience off-roading. His Jeep's been off-roading his whole life. It's great because there's no Jeep right here, but we do off-roading. So this is exactly the type of person I would want to look at. But 21 years old, just recently got a CDL. So those two things right there, either one of those, but he's got both of them, completely disqualify him from me being able to even consider. And that's the killer about the whole thing with insurance, kind of deciding for us, is even if it was someone I knew and knew it's the type of person I wanted, I don't get to make the choice because they're not even an option for me. So thank you, sir, for reaching out. Unfortunately, my hands are tied on the matter. But if you meet the qualifications and you're the type of person who want to go on a multi-day trip once a month or so, cascadeheavyrescue@gmail.com. Like I said, it's something I like doing, but on top of the YouTube video schedule, what I'm also running into quite regularly is I leave for 3-4 days on a trip, and I'm missing all the calls for the heavy wrecker doing local work. And the problem is when someone uses, or when I say no and they have to use someone else, they will continue to use that other company, and I completely lost that customer from now on, pretty much. So on top of the YouTube thing, it also really hurts the heavy towing side of things when I just constantly have to tell people no, so they go somewhere else and don't come back, which is why I think I got a lot of those longer trips that need to be done. I got more of them that could be done. I think a part-time guy who wants to get out and about every once in a while would be a good fit for this. So if that's you, email down below. And if not, thanks for watching anyway. We'll see you next time.